take responsibility of being better, but at the same time, I'm just moving forward today, focusing for another game tomorrow. That was a bad turnover, so, how I said, I take responsibility for it. Accountability, I guess, is a better word. I just want to move forward. I don't want to be any distraction to our team. The guys know how I feel about them in here, and it was a bad play. So, how I said, I take the accountability, but already moving forward.
So David Pastrnak was benched. Tyler Johnson was signed. Let's just talk about the Bruins overall. 2 back-to-back shutout wins. Korpisalo gets a shutout. Swayman gets a shutout. And while they didn't beat world beaters, they beat the Philadelphia Flyers and Seattle Kraken, it does seem like in some circumstances the Bruins are starting to come along and not look like a complete laughingstock after that spanking they received by the Carolina Hurricanes. I want to talk about the Pastrnak benching, and this has been somewhat divisive. Now, I'm in some Bruins groups on Facebook and some on Discord, and some were in denial saying, oh, it was an injury that he was benched, but it seems like Montgomery benched him for his play and the turnovers that constantly happen with Pasta. I want to make this very clear. David Pastrnak is a phenomenal offensive player. He is one of the best goal scorers in the league. And without him, the Bruins are nowhere near even a playoff type team. When Pastrnak is in the zone and he's playing at the best version of himself, he's one of the best players in the NHL, and he's just a lot of fun to watch. But I think it's fair to say, in this very early season, he's been prone to be making a lot of turnovers. And it's not just this season, happened in the playoffs last year. Pastrnak is a player at times that is very poor with his decision making with the puck. And he'll just kind of either get knocked off the puck easily, or he'll try to make a play or a pass it's too high risk and it ends up going the other way and at the back of the Bruins net. So I think Montgomery wanted to send a message like, hey, we need to clean some things up here. And I will say with Montgomery, he gets some guff, but kind of after that light shove that the media like to make a big deal out of, Marchand's look pretty good. And maybe that benching will be a good wake-up call for Pastrnak. Yes, you're making a ton of money. You are one of the highest paid players in the NHL. But that does not mean you cannot get your butt put on the bench. So hopefully this is a good moment for Pastrnak, kind of recenters him, and we see the best version of Pasta against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Because again, if this Bruins team is going to want to be anything this season, if they're going to want to go in the playoffs and make some type of noise, they're going to need Pastrnak. They're going to need him to be that 40-plus goal scorer that he can be. Now, I will say the Tyler Johnson signing, I like. He played with the Chicago Blackhawks last season. Now, is he going to come in here and fix all the offensive issues with the Bruins? No. That's just not going to happen. But he'll be a nice complimentary piece. It'll be somewhat similar to what Danton Heinen was for the Bruins last season. Guy that stuck around the team, finally gets his contract. It's kind of on a minimum deal. And you're hoping it's a, low risk, high reward type deal. You're hoping Johnson can come in. And if he can be on pace on an 82-game season around 40 points, this is a very, very successful signing and gives the Bruins much-needed secondary scoring. And it's going to have people on the Bruins Geeky, where are you at? I need you to produce. I need you to kind of step up. He's going to have those type of fringe players realize, maybe I'm not as safe as I thought I was. Especially when you're bringing in a guy like Johnson that has been proven to be around 0.4 to a half a point per game player at the NHL level. So, after the 2 shutout wins, do I believe the Bruins are now one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference? No. They did not beat world beaters, but it is a nice step in the right direction. While Swayman and Korpisalo have had their off nights, and I still have my reservations about Korpisalo, and I'm hoping he proves me wrong, the defense in front of him, and both of them, I should say, has not been great. They've been letting odd man opportunities happen far too open in the transition. They've also just left passing lanes completely open, leaving guys completely uncovered to have sweet tap-in goals. It's just not very disciplined hockey early in the season. And I'm hoping what the Bruins played like in those two games can be building blocks to show how they can play against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Because against the Kraken, first couple periods, I mean, they were doing a real good job of mitigating pretty much most of those shots. On the third period, Kraken got some more shots, got more opportunities. I don't know if that's just because they took their foot off the gas. The Kraken were just kind of scrambling and desperate to get anything on net. But if the Bruins can just start piecing together, using each game as a building block, and just start kind of building confidence and chemistry together, they have to be better than that team I saw them play as against the Carolina Hurricanes, where they got completely embarrassed. As a Bruins fan, I will say, even if they lose against Toronto, but if they show me a good 200-foot game effort, it's a close game, it's not embarrassing, I think that's a good sign. You know, I know people don't believe in moral victories, but if they can keep building and start to show more discipline in both ends, yeah, I think it's very promising. I will say I still do have, even with Johnson signed, because I don't think he's a magic fix-all. Offensively, I do have some worries. You know, Charlie Coyle, nice little move, nice little tuck against the Kraken. I liked what I saw there. You need him to produce more. Pavel Zacha needs to discover how to hit the net, because he's had some golden opportunities, but he's just kind of snake-bitten. And I know waved off and all that. I'm just saying you need Pavel Zacha to kind of get going as well, because if this team is going to be anything, you're going to need Pastrnak, you need Marchand, but you're going to need guys like last year that stepped up like Coyle and Zacha to be contributors and have production at least second-line level, maybe even third-line level, just so they can be a deep team. Not necessarily the greatest team, but a deep team where there's not just reliant on Pasa or Marchand to just score every single point for this team. Because if that turns out to be the case, the Bruins, they're not going to be the playoff Bruins. They would probably struggle to get into a wild card spot. Again, I was impressed by the back-to-back wins. Hopefully some of the chatter about Swayman and the $8.25 million can kind of calm down. If he can start kind of producing at the level he should be and start making some good saves. If Korpisalo can, I mean, he had some incredible saves against the Flyers. If he can show me more of that and just keep the goals against to a minimum, Bruins, I mean, hey, it's not a perfect team. It's not a world beater, but they'll be fun to watch, and if they get good goaltending with solid defense, I mean, they could surprise some people. But I'd like to know your thoughts down below in the comment section. What did you think of the David Pastrnak benching? What did you think of the Tyler Johnson signing? And do you believe these 2 wins in a row, these 2 back-to-back shutouts, could be the beginning of something better for the Bruins and their fan base? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. I'm Captain Paul. I'll see you in the next one.